Hey everyone, welcome back to Upside Down Data. Today I wanted to talk about a model I've been working on that's looking pretty incredible. So I made an article that is currently posted over at our website, polaritydigital.io. Encourage you to go check it out if you haven't already. But I realized that some people might not have seen this, might not have come up, so I wanted to make a video to kind of talk more about this. So I think this model really is something else and is worth talking about. So this is a model that I've been working on that I'm currently going with the name probabilistic forecast model. That's likely to change, still work in progress. But basically what it is it's trying to forecast the future market direction some number of days into the future. So that's what this does. It's designed to output the probability that the price of an asset will be positive or negative in the next X number of days. And so in the examples that I give in the article, I'm going to be looking at 6 months in the future. So let's just go ahead and flip over here. I'm just going to zoom in a bit more so we can see this chart more clearly. So I'm going to use Link as an example. So this in the blue line here is the output of the model. The green line is the price of Link across time. And the y-axis is the probability of upside for Link 180 days in the future. So the model at any given point in time is saying, what is the probability that 6 months from now, the price of Link will be above where it is right now. So for example, this point right here, the model was giving over 90%, 95% chance that 6 months from now, the price of Link would be above where it was then. And indeed, it got that quite right. You know, this being the March 2020 crash then led to this massive rally in Link. That's how you interpret this. These probabilities are the probability of upside 6 months into the future. So 0 would be 0 chance from the model's perspective, 100 would be 100% chance from the model's perspective. Now with this particular output that I'm showing you here in the article, I trained the model on data all the way up until around this point here, around mid-2021, around September of 2021. Then everything after that is test data. And so basically that's just what the model would have outputted only based on what it was able to learn within that testing set. This is a new data set. It did not know about this when it was training itself, and this is just what the prediction would be then in that test set. And it does really well. It actually is an 89% accuracy rating in the test set throughout here. And I do this for other assets as well, in addition to Link, HBAR and ADA in this article, and the accuracy was even better for those. Over 90, I think for ADA was almost 100% accuracy in the test set. And we can see why it did so well. So during this entire bear market, you can see the model got incredibly pessimistic on Link. Really, even during this kind of rally into the later half of 2021, the model wasn't really all that convinced because it knew it was looking forward. It was saying, all right, even if the price is moving up right now, 6 months from now, there's not a super great chance that the price is going to be higher than where it is right now. And indeed, it got that right. Look what happened to Link's price coming off of that. It went into that nasty, horrible bear market that we've all seen. And so that's why it's getting it so right. It's saying that more likely than not, price will be lower than it is right now. It got that call correct throughout this whole time. Now, interestingly, as we go into more recent data up through here, it's actually gotten more bullish. It got into spike to the highest here at 80% likelihood of upside in the next 6 months. Currently, it's sitting at around, or at least when I generated this back on, this article came out on Monday. So it's certainly currently sitting at around 65% as of when I had made this chart, but somewhere in that ballpark. So it's still leaning in the bullish side, sort of like what we saw going up through here. So could that mean that Link is getting ready for a new bull market? Time will tell. But if this model is any indication, it nailed this. It absolutely crushed this. Super high accuracy rating through this whole time. We'll see if it ends up getting that same thing right over here. You know, history is looking good so far. Let's go ahead and see what happens. Flip over to HBAR and see what it did for that. So this is looking at HBAR again. Trading data cuts off right around the midpoint of 2021. So actually around here, actually before the all-time high, somewhere back over here. And we see a similar story where the model was, relatively bullish enough throughout this whole time, saying, that things might go up in this next 6 months or so. But then right around here, right around when we got to the all-time high, it broke decisively below 50% and was saying, I don't know anymore. I think the downside is coming into focus. In the next 6 months, the downside is going to happen. And indeed, that whole bear market then followed. And then it's only started getting bullish once the worst of the bear market had passed. And again, throughout the test data throughout here that it was looking at, it got a very high accuracy score. So that's pretty good. Let's go ahead, and flip over here to ADA and see how it did with it. Similar story, got bullish throughout this whole run going up through here. Again, training data cuts off right around here, and then got super bearish, super pessimistic on ADA. Really, the all-time high was already kind of pessimistic, and then really just fell off a cliff, and it absolutely nails this. This is where it got almost perfect accuracy in predicting what was going to happen. Again, predicting the future, predicting 6 months into the future. It did extremely well. Saw this, basically foresaw this bear market happening. Now, interestingly, it started getting bullish again, right around where we've seen, at least so far, this reversal in the market. So why do I think this is so impressive and so important to talk about? Well, I think one of the things that investors in crypto really want to know is how likely is the market to be up or down some number of days in the future. I think that's what a lot of people want to know in the crypto space, because the way that a lot of people approach this market is they're not trying to trade every move. They're not trying to, get in and get out at every little bit of volatility. They want to know, is this a good accumulation zone to set me up for the next bull market? If I'm looking into the future, is investing now a good idea or not? Or what probability can I place on that? And that's where I think the true power of this model comes out, is it gives you a probability. It says at this point in time, there's X probability that the market will be up in the future. And so if you just look at it and you say, if the model's telling you there's only a 10% chance of upside six months from now, that doesn't look like a great time. The odds are not really in your favor on that time horizon. Whereas if the model instead is up here and saying that there's an 80-90% chance of upside in the next 6 months, that's looking pretty darn good, right? If you're looking at this now, it's saying there's an almost 100% chance of upside right here in 6 months. And indeed, that's what we ended up getting roughly from 6 months from there. We got the all-time high for ADA. That's a pretty good indication. That's indicating that, that might be a good accumulation point, or at least to be feeling optimistic about the future is very reasonable there. And so that's where I think this is really powerful. And the fact that it works so well across different assets. So I'm showing you 3, but I've tested this amongst a bunch of different assets now, and it's worked very well. Very high, very impressive, frankly, accuracy ratings for all the different assets that I have tested. And especially it gives me confidence the fact that I was able to fit it to data only up to about here, for example, and is still able to accurately call the bear market, and then also these reversals that we started to see in some of these assets. That gives me some confidence in this model. So I think this will be a really exciting one to watch going forward. Now, this is still a work in progress, but the hope is that we'll be able to add it to the website here, polaritydigital.io. I'll leave a link in the description. We have other data from our other models that are on here, and frankly, those other models are all very impressive in their own right, so I encourage you to go over there here and check them out for yourself. But I want to give this sneak peek about this model because I'm really excited about this. I think it'll be a very useful tool to add to the toolkit. Now, of course, as it always bears saying, none of what I've said here is intended to be financial advice. You should interpret these data as you see fit, make your own decisions about what to do with them. But when I'm building a model, what I try to do is make something that I think will be the most useful and is as reliable as I can think it is, to have as much confidence that I'm putting out reliable data as I can. And this model has been passing all those tests with flying colors. Very high accuracy scores, especially with data that the model has had no idea about when it was trained. All new test data, and it's handled it very well so far. So keep tuned for updates about this model. I'm excited to keep developing and see where it goes in the future. And if you're interested in seeing some of our other data, go over to polaritydigital.io, and then also follow us on Twitter. A lot of updates about indicators and more over there.